And even Abu Mama but I were even saying the other day, "Oh, no, Mtanami, we know these people. Some are now regular people that we know. You understand? As students are not registered, some they don't even want to come back because they are thinking, how am I going to be able to register? Some are coming to classes, but they're not registered. You understand? Because they're scared they're going to be left behind. And we're already 2 weeks into the academic year. And you know here at Base, once you lose one class, 3, 4, you are already behind with so many readings and all those things. You understand? So it's a thing to say that we're already 2 weeks into the academic year. Can the university do something about this? All students with outstanding fees must be able to register. And 10% of the VAT raises are beds must be offered to hardship accommodation, and e-registration must be extended to at least the 1st of March so that everyone can be able to come in and be able to register. And even the issue of the course intake.
Welcome back to 4TV gang. It's a beautiful Saturday, and next to me I am sitting with Mkabayi. And as you may have seen from the thumbnail, today we're going to talk about the importance of young people voting. And yes, registrations have closed, but those who have registered, make it a point to vote. So today we're going to dive into that conversation. So before we get to that, I just want Mkabayi to introduce herself a little bit, because she's a student leader here at the University of Witwatersrand. Mkabayi, welcome to 4TV.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone. My name is Mkabayi, actually Nombulelo Mkabayi Chia. I am the former deputy secretary there by David Webster. I was also the vice chairperson as well as the ARSC chairperson, and currently I am the chairperson of the School of Social Sciences.
Nizwili. So whatever is going to come out of this leader here, you better take it seriously, because she has been in the leadership position. She knows how it works. She knows how the system works, how students, the challenges that students are facing. And yeah, before we dive more into that, tell us about Mkabayi. How did you get the name?
So in actual fact, the name came from my grandmother, and I actually continued to use the name when I got into house com. So what we used to do in our com at David Webster is that I'm a freshers don't call you with your first name or with your original name. So you must choose a name that you must use for freshers to call you with, right? So the theme around this whole thing of names was to choose strong, black, powerful women, right? And the first person that actually came to my mind was Mkabayi, because really I know even my grandmother used to use the name
Mkabayi
for me as well, Mkabayi, right? So Mkabayi comes from the name Mkabayi Gajama, the Zulu princess, right? So Mkabayi Gajama used to be this strong, powerful force back in the days in the Zulu kingdom, right? And my grandmother used to say that she sees me as a powerful force, just like Mkabayi, right? So I took the name as well to say that this is the kind of woman that I represent.
Yes.
Do you understand? And I think that I like how the recent Netflix show or
No, it's
series? Showmax,
Yeah,
right?
Showmax.
Shaka Ilembe, how they got to represent Mkabayi, because it shows how powerful that woman was in terms of leadership skills. And I love the support that even Ujama gave to his daughter to ensure that she shows these leadership skills. So this is how I got the name Mkabayi. And when people heard, and I thought I didn't actually plan for the name to fully be my name. It was just a thing of, okay, this is the name we're going to use for freshers to call you. And it just boom, everyone knew me as Mkabayi. Now people don't even know my real name.
They don't, because I don't know
I'm
my real name. And
Mkabayi.
she goes to class with me. Just imagine how bad that is. Because the Mkabayi name is it has so much power to it.
Sure.
There's so much respect attached to it. I hear even young freshers were singing this year, singing to you Mkabayi, and it was so beautiful.
Sure.
But it's not just about the name; it's also about the leadership skills that you carry.
Sure.
And I agree with your grandmother that she sees you as a powerful woman who's going to take, like, in leadership roles, who leads like Mkabayi. And even though obviously the way that Mkabayi was leading then at that time was great, but what you're doing right now at this time is great for the students. Can you please just dive into the challenges that students are actually facing, and the challenges that you as student leaders are faced with?
So I think I'll focus on what is currently happening on campus right now, right? So we are currently facing a huge issue of registration and accommodation. And I think these are issues that we always face each and every year, and
At the
more
beginning of the
especially
year.
at the beginning of the year and throughout the whole year, actually, especially when it comes to accommodation, right? So it's actually a crisis that is happening on campus that students get to face each and every year. And student leaders, for myself, I think that have been put in the corner by, I don't know if I can say the university, but how the system or things have been run, it seems as if student leaders are being put to a corner to lead in a certain way, right? So you're supposed or you're expected to do things 1, 2, 3, and if you don't do it accordingly or according to that way, then you have an issue with your leadership skills or you find yourself suspended and so forth.
Yes.
So I don't think that student leaders at this current moment in time are being given an opportunity to freely lead the way they want to lead. Because when you become a strong force and when you become a fearless person that is actually going to stand for the issues of students, you don't
Then
actually,
you become a problem.
You understand? To say that you are not going to make things easier for us, maybe as management and so forth, and perhaps you are a problem to us or maybe ganjan ganjan. Do you understand? So I think that when it comes to student leaders are not being given a right to freely lead the way they want to lead. Because when you do so, you get consequences. You can be suspended and so forth. And when it comes to student issues never end. Instead of going down, they're going up. And it's a crisis because no one now is that brave enough to come and say, I'm going to stand for the students.
And these are the solutions.
And these are the solutions we can put in place. Because if you do that, then even you yourself are not safe at all.
And you wonder why students always run away from voting for student leaders and run away from actually taking part within the student leadership positions. Speaking of students running away from these leadership positions because of how problematic they are, you mentioned something about you being in house committee when you were doing your first year. How did that come about? And can you just explain to the viewers so that they understand maybe the challenges that student leaders are actually running away from?
So in my first year, when I got into house com, it was the thing of there were not so many seniors who wanted to contest. And for the mere fact that not so many seniors wanted to contest for house committee shows you that there's a problem behind that this thing of being in house com or what's not. Or maybe I could put it and say it's not a privilege for you to be in house committee, right? So I was elected in my first year. Our warden came into place and said, okay, we cannot be able to function or run the house with only 3 people being part of house com.
Only 3 people.
Only 3 people who were seniors at that time. So they chose us as first years to become part of Housecom, and we got into the House Committee leadership positions, right? We were first year. There was not so many things that we knew, right? But when we got into the space, I think one thing that we recognized was to see that there are so many issues that are currently happening here, and they never get resolved. Because leadership each and every year, for instance, i-Housecom is on Ghana, and they'll have face issues, they'll raise those issues, but there's never going to be a point in time where house leaders are being called into one place and say, okay, what have you been facing? How can you solve issues? How can we make sure that these particular issues don't happen in the following year? But there is only one camp or one sessions or induction where they're being told information, but never given a chance to actually come back and give a review as to, okay, this is what we have faced and this is how we plan, or these are the solutions that we think can be put in place to solve these particular issues. So we find ourselves in a situation where you face similar issues each and every year because they raise them but never get to review them. Then the following year, new Housecom come in, they raise them and they never get to review them as well. So it's a thing of it's repeating itself.
And actually thinking about that as I'm looking at the processes you're explaining it, that maybe it could happen that this year there were house committee members that were able, or student leaders that were able to like tackle certain problems in a specific way, but because there's never a meeting of when you guys meet again and then discuss how you solved certain problems, those solutions that were implemented last year don't get a chance to be documented so that they can be implemented the following year.
That's true.
You know, it's so crazy. I'm going to tell you this. I'm also going to tell the audience that it's so crazy that my lecturer set out the first 2 weeks we were doing activities that were not graded, and this was because he put aside time for student protests. So he's like, it's a norm now that students are going to protest. So he put a set aside time to say the first 2 weeks we're not going to do weighted assignments. We're only going to do weighted assignments in the third week. And unfortunately, protests are only beginning
in
in
the
the
third
third week.
week. It's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate,
It's unfortunate.
for him.
That,
I do
yeah.
also get where he was coming from with implementing that, because he was being considerate of the students that have not registered.
Yeah,
Because
true.
now, if they come back to they arrive to class and they're already like they have missed two
Sure.
weighted assignments, then they're already like way behind. It would be very difficult for them to catch up. But then now student protests are beginning. And what would you say is the biggest, since you said it's housing and registration, what has made it so difficult in these 2 weeks for the students to register?
Okay, so the major issue that is preventing students to be able to register is fees, right? So we have an issue that NSFAS has kept last year the accommodation fee to 45K, and recently they say it's going to be kept at 50,000, right? And the DH meal is going to be kept at 13K, and it's all those financial issues to say that then get the outstanding amount, you must be able to pay it for yourself, right? And my major thing is to say that if students are funded by NSFAS, it means that they are SASSA beneficiaries and they cannot be able to afford to pay fees. Therefore, they cannot be expected to pay the outstanding fees or even 50% of the outstanding fees.
How are they supposed to raise it?
How are they supposed to? Where are they supposed to get it? Because you put proof there that my parents are not working, that I'm being taken care of by my grandmother. So where do you expect a grandmother who's getting social grant to pay your 20,000?
It's not even enough for her.
It's not even enough for her. Do you understand? So what has been a major issue these 2 weeks for students to be able to register? It's a thing of fees, and most even for the ones who are self-funded, because you find that okay, you are self-funded, but your parents have 4 other children that they have to take care of. All 4 of you are in university, so this parent cannot be expected to pay the amount of all these 4 just like that, because it's not going to be enough, right?
But the requirement was way too high. It's saying 75% of the fees. Was it like, oh, that's for the international students? Oh, okay, sorry.
Even the 50% of it depends how much you are owing. Some are paying 65K, some are paying 100K because you are owing 200, and 50% of 200 is 100K. About all those types of issues. And my major point is that we cannot therefore say education is a right if it's only going to be accessible to those who are coming from privileged homes or from beautiful economic backgrounds. So most of our students have not been able to register because they don't have money to pay. They have outstanding fees, and some cannot be able to graduate as we're going to April right now.
Yes, because of those
outstanding fees. And my thing is then, we can't say education is a right. Let's just say education belongs to those who are coming from who are privileged and coming from beautiful economic backgrounds. And those who can access it, right? And that is what we've been fighting for, to say that anyone, whatever amount they are owing, allow students to register. If someone is passed and everything is well in terms of their academics, allow them to continue, allow them to proceed. You cannot say you cannot be able to come back to the university because you are owing 1, 2, 3. And we truly understand that the university has some finance or things that they need to take care of with this money. However, this is a dream of a black child, because it's realistically, when you go to those SRC offices and wherever places where it's financial issues, it's black students that you're going to find them holding a long line. But when you see Solomon Mahlang, this other side, for fees side, it was a long line of black students going to solve their issues of fees because they were not able to pay. And on the other side, it was a long line of white students going to book for parking and how much is parking and so forth. And that just shows you the reality of things, of the different struggles that we have within the university. And we would like to also pledge that the university comes into place and assist students with this thing of fees. Maybe you can say if you are working, you can pay back the amount. But as of now, you cannot say people cannot be able to come and study simply because they're coming from disadvantaged economic background. And to me, this thing is personal, because I know that there's so many friends of mine who cannot be able to come back and study, who cannot be able to come back and register because they don't have money to pay. Sharp. So it's very true.
And it's so sad. It's so sad. I'm getting all emotional now. Like, I don't have... Can I just take a moment? Students are sleeping in libraries, guys.
Sure.
And others are not even sleeping in our libraries. They're sleeping in classrooms. And it's cold for some people. Like, others are getting flu. People are not eating. Go imagine, NSFAS has not paid students allowances up. And people traveled from far away to come and study here. What are you expecting students to eat? Like,
in actual
it's so
fact,
unfair.
I think last week we went on campus and did a campus tour, not really a campus tour, but we were going around campus to see how many students are facing these issues and so forth. Before, Nama used to say students are sleeping on our toilets, but I've never seen it. But in the last week, I saw it and it's really, really painful. It's not even a joke right now. Because you go there, you open an elevator, someone is sleeping right in front of an elevator. You go to toilets, someone is sleeping in a toilet, and that is dehumanizing. If you actually get to sit down and speak about this thing, I had to offer my office to one of the students who was sleeping outside when it was outside there under the trees to say it's a female student. Yeah, but the student was sleeping
lot
there.
can
She
happen.
didn't have accommodation. I had to offer my office to say that you can't sleep outside. At least get an office or somewhere. There must be a roof on top of your head whilst you are fixing your issues. But the university, as we speak, has a space of 700 beds in bed residences, and they're not offering it to those students. And one of our major requests is to say that can 10% of those beds be offered to hardship accommodation? Because you see, with the beds are empty, why are you not giving them to students? Right? Give these beds to students so students can be able to find accommodation and be accommodated. It cannot be that there are places that are empty, but you just allow people to sleep there under the trees and toilets simply because they don't have money to pay. You understand? So it means that education is only accessible and free. Not free. It's only accessible to those who have money, who are rich and coming from a Sentin, those suburbs, privileged backgrounds. And if you are coming from a poor background, if you are coming from a Makai or KZN and Lipopo, then you don't deserve to get education.
And it's going to be hard. And other students are actually coming and returning back home. Let's say a student arrives and they try to fix their issues today. They know they don't have a place to sleep. They're just going to give up and go back home.
True.
And think about all the hard work that student has put in. Maybe that student did not even fail that year. It's just a matter of they cannot afford to pay the money that is said to be outstanding. It's so bad. Speaking of empty beds on campus, there are empty beds on campus because campus fees, like residence fees, are very high on campus. It's not even paid the NSFAS cap. No residence costs 50,000 rand on campus, and that on its own is another issue.
It's another issue because my church was that if NSFAS is saying we are only going to pay 50,000, then the university or the vet raises must be able to say, okay, those who are funded by NSFAS, this is the amount of money that you are also going to be expected to pay. If it's 50K, then the vet raises must cost 50K for NSFAS funded students. It's something that they can be able to do. External residences, those private accommodations, they do it. They did it so that they can be able to accommodate those students who are funded by NSFAS. You understand? And my church is that we came forward as student leaders and said that if these fees are so high, we can cut down some of the services that are being offered in vet residences, right? Students who stay in vet residences pay for DSTV subscriptions, they pay for gyms, they pay for different kinds of medical assistance, they pay for all those things. And these are the things you can be able to cut down. If you are paying for a gym, we can cut down that thing. But if you're really, really serious about going to gym, there are gyms on campus, you can be able to access them. But then we can cut down the services so that the price as well can go down. The cleaning, the services that are being for Mama Batinayo has already been cut down. So before they used to clean each and every week, right? But now they're only cleaning for once a month.
Which is good.
Now means that the fees must go down. But I was shocked when I went to my fee statement and the fees are going up, of which then brings in a question of how come are the services going down and the fees are going up? You understand? And it's not going to be beneficial to NSFAS funded students in any kind of way.
True.
Because it means that if you are NSFAS funded, then you don't belong to stay in a vet race.
So where do you belong?
That's the main question. Where do you belong? Because vet races can accommodate you. You go to external races, you need to pay top up fees there.
Deposit, first month rent.
Yes,
you have to pay before NSFAS pays.
Yes.
Because they complain about NSFAS taking too much time before it pays.
Sure.
Others don't even want to consider NSFAS students.
Yes, that's true. That's the reality of things. And my question, like you asked, where do you belong then? It's that reality of things. So that is the state of campus right now. Students are sleeping in libraries, labs, toilets, and even Abu Mama Bat and I were even saying the other day, we know these people. Some are now regular people that we know. You understand? And students are not registered. Some they don't even want to come back because they're thinking, how am I going to be able to register? Some are coming to classes, but they're not registered. You understand? Because they're scared they're going to be left behind. And we're already 2 weeks into the academic year. And you know here at Wits, once you lose one class, 3, 4, you are already behind with so many readings and all those things, you understand? So it's a thing to say that we're already 2 weeks into the academic year. Can the university do something about this? All students with outstanding fees must be able to register. And 10% of the VAT raises are beds must be offered to hardship accommodation, and e-registration must be extended to at least the 1st of March so that everyone can be able to come in and be able to register. And even the issue of the course intake, they must allow students to register for the courses that they want. They can't say course is full when you know very well that this is a compliance course. So now what must happen? You understand?
True.
So they must be able to open these things of courses so students can be able to come in and register for it.
And you know, as we are talking and we're engaging about this, like on this topic, my mind just keeps on running to mental health mental health because when you think about it, we have a lot of during like our first year orientation. There is a lot of awareness around mental health, but at the same time, and they say mental health is important. We experienced a lot of suicides last year.
Sure.
A lot of suicides. This rest been a suicide. This rest someone has passed away. It was suicide. And you know, with our own rest, with the one we experienced, it was way too early in the year, and one might ask yourself why. Way too early in the year.
Why?
It is situations like this. The year just began, and already someone feels like giving up. And it's just like too
you
much.
see, you are raising a very important point when it comes to mental health. I don't think that the mental health of students in the university is being taken care of. You understand? Yes, there might be CCDU. Yes, there might be people that you can go and consult with. But if the issue is not being solved, you are going to face the issue until the end of the year. You can't say, I don't have accommodation, I'm sleeping in a toilet, then I must go to CCDU. How is it going to help me? Because I'm going to get there, speak, but I'm going to go back to the toilet at the end of the day. So I think there are some basic issues that really should be like other issues should not be tolerated, right? You see the issue of accommodation, that thing of students going to sleep in toilets and under the trees, it's dehumanizing. And we cannot say that students must go and consult and speak to psychologists when they're going to go back at the end of the day to the very same place that is putting them into that mental state. You understand? So I think that in terms of accommodation, in terms of registration, those are two basic issues that the university must ensure all the students are sorted in, right? If you have accommodation and you are registered, maybe other issues that you might complain about are issues that maybe you can be able to fix. If you are behind with work, maybe you need to
put more
efforts and hours. But if you are not registered, there's nothing that you can't do anything, literally, right? And that is when the question comes in to say that, then what about the mental health of students? Do you understand? Even the mental health of those who are registered and have accommodation. Do you understand? Because like I said myself, I am registered and I have accommodation, but I cannot tolerate the feeling of coming on campus knowing very well that my friend is not here.
And not just because you are a student leader, but because you are another black child.
I'm another black child.
And who is in a class who knows this face is not here and this face passed. This person is supposed to be here as
This
well.
person is supposed to be here as well. Walking around on campus, going to class with people who are not registered, and by the end of the night, people are sleeping in labs. Now I have to take my key and open all those different kinds of issues. And my thing is, when it comes to mental health, it's not protected at all. Do you understand? Especially when it comes to these two major issues. If the university says that they want to protect the mental health of students, they can, or they must at least put effort to fix these two major issues: registration and accommodation. Then the rest you can speak about it as the year goes by. But right now, these are the emergency issues that they must ensure they attend to, because we know people who are already giving up right now and saying, what's the use of me coming back when I know I don't have a place to sleep? What if I just don't come back at all this year? They were never planning on taking a gap year. So how do you feel, like, what do you think is going to happen to the student throughout the whole year? They'll be demotivated. Some will even think of not coming back the following year,
getting jobs and just sticking to those jobs that they have got, unskilled labor.
Exactly. So you see, Uti, it's not a thing that is going to be good for the mental health of students at all, unless it is fixed. Then other issues, we can tackle them throughout the whole year, but these two ones must be attended to, and as soon as possible, to be quite honest.
Guys, the conversation is heated, and it's not just heated because it's Mkabayi who's here, right? But it is heated because it affects us all. Let us engage on the comment section, because right now I want us to Like, let's just engage. Give us your opinions. I know there are student leaders from other universities that are watching that have had the similar situations. How can we
True.
best tackle these problems? Give suggestions. We can do it together. We can.
Sure, we can.
I actually believe that. So let's get engaged in the comment section. Ask a question if you want. Drop a comment if you want, and we'll make sure that we get to it. Mkabayi will also assist me into getting to address whatever questions you may have, and whatever comment that you may have. Now, speaking of all the challenges that we're facing as this institution, I know other institutions are facing also their own challenges, but it's more or less kind of related. Why is it then important for young people to vote for the national elections?
You see, if you want to see change in the community, you must be able to form part of the people who are in the movement of making change, right? So it's very important for young people to vote, because young people in many spaces they are not included in, right? I think this is a time for young people to actually get to lead. This is the time for the voice of young people to be heard. And I think that this is the time for young people to stop saying, I'm not interested in politics, because these issues that we are facing are as a result of the politics that you say you're not interested in, right? So hence I say, I think it's the most important thing for young people to vote, to ensure that this high unemployment, there's issues of NSFAS. There are many issues that maybe we might have solutions for. So come in, vote, and so we can see after voting, okay, what is the way forward? Oh, this is the party that we think will best
do a good job,
represent our interest as young. We want people to lead, actually. We want people to get into these spaces. So people must vote so that the young people that can be able to represent our interest can get to lead. You understand? So we have an issue of unemployment, we have an issue of NSFAS, all those different types of issues. And we're saying that it's only a young person that can come in and solve these issues, because they relate to them and they know these are the kinds of issues that we are facing. And even if you don't know which party to vote for or which party represents your interest or values, we have manifestos. Parties have manifestos. They have all these different types of documents that you can read and actually see which one best represents your interest. So you have already registered, but you still don't know which party to vote for. You can just go to the manifestos that the parties have and actually read those manifestos and actually see which one aligns more with your interest or your values. Then you can actually go and vote. But you can't just register to vote and don't vote because you don't know which party to vote for, right? So you go read the manifestos and see which party can best represent the interest that you have as a young person, or that you want to see in our community or in our society.
There is a slogan of I think it's a bank. It's a be the change you want to see.
Sure.
I think it's a bank. Is it a bank?
I'm not sure if it's a bank. I know the
But you look at the name.
Yeah.
So you ought to be the change that you want to see. You have to do something differently. Yes, you have to do something, because you can't. If you see that you've been doing the same thing and it's been giving you the same results, then you have to do something differently so to get different results. Right? You don't seem to be agreeing with me.
I don't know where you're going with this point.
No, I'm just saying generally,
Yeah.
let's say you've been doing the same thing all over again. And it's giving you the same results, and that those results you don't want them, right? Those are not the results that you want. So definitely you have to do things different.
Yeah. So as I was explaining, I'm gonna start by saying my vote is not a secret, right? Me, I'm a force of the ANC. I'll vote for the ANC because I know the values of the ANC, because I know the ideologies of the ANC, because I've seen the work of the ANC, and I know that there's no any other party that can govern the states better than the ANC, right? And my take is that people are so quick at saying we want to remove. People are not voting because they see a specific party that can govern this country in a good way. They are voting because some are saying we want to remove the ANC. But that is problematic even on its own, to say that you can't say I'm voting because I want to remove the ANC, but you don't know which party is going to come in and govern the state better than the ANC, right? So you must be able to come and say I'm voting for this party because it has done 1, 2, 3, or I believe it's going to do 1, 2, 3, not because I want to remove the ANC. Do you understand? And make these things problematic for people to say that the ANC was not able to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's not only the ANC that is in parliament. Yes, the ANC is the majority, but other parties are there in parliament. Other parties are leading districts. Other parties are leading municipalities. What are they doing in their own spaces that they're leading in? You as an organization, you're not supposed to fill in a specific governance position for you to serve the community, right? In your own space that you are in, how are you serving the community? How are you ensuring that the needs of the people, of the citizens within our state are served in any kind of way? Do you understand? So my take is to say that people cannot be able to come and say, well, the ANC has failed us. No. Look at the work that the ANC has done. And if you say that the EFF can govern better, DA can govern better, let's go look in the places that they're currently leading and see what are they doing in their own communities. You understand? But if you're still confused as to what you want to vote for, me, I'll encourage you to vote for the ANC, but go back to the manifestos, read the manifestos of different political parties. And when it comes to voting, or when it comes to any specific party leading the country, especially those who are new that are coming in just now. Me, I'm an international relations student, so I touch on international relations issues as well. You must be able to see if this party is going to be able to keep or maintain the relationships that we have with outside investors that are ensuring that our economy is moving at the rate, or is growing, or is being maintained in a specific good way, or in a specific good pace. So if you say, no, me, I think this party can govern better, are they experienced? Where have they led? What have they done for the community? How many times have they served the community without being in a specific governance party? So it's problematic if a party is going to come and say, me, I can lead better, but they've never done anything in their own personal spaces. You understand? But that is my chair to say, young people must vote for the party that has done at least something for them. Not someone who comes and say, we'll give you 6,000 if you have a degree. Then what does it mean for people who are working? Do you mean that their taxes should be increased? You understand? All those things must be questioned. People must not go with the trend and say that, no, we're removing the ANC, and now you are joining the trend. But you actually, when we come down and sit down and say, okay, you are removing the ANC, if not the ANC, then who? Yeah. What are they doing better than the ANC? You understand? Me, I'm ready for the conversation. In fact, I'm ready for the conversation.
Engage
exactly,
because
yes, because exactly, because my thing is, yes, the ANC is majority, but they are leading in the specific parties. Though all these other parties that you say you want to vote for, and my chat is, tell us what have they done, and tell us how they're going to do things better than the ANC. Me, I'll tell you what the ANC is going to do. Me, I'll tell you how the ANC is going to move this country into a better position in the future. Now you must be able to come forward and I'm looking forward even for the viewers to come in and engage on this topic. To say that me, I'm standing very clear on my stance. I'm saying the ANC or nothing. There's no any other party that can govern this country better than the ANC. If you think there is, tell me. We'll engage.
Yeah.
And I'm very much interested. Give me your reasons. I'm very much interested because I'm an international relations student in the international community issues. Do you understand? More especially because of the stance that South Africa has been taking in the past few months, that the issues that we've been facing, Palestine issue, Ukraine issue. Me, I'm going to tell you how much good governance we have in terms of international community. And even when it comes to yes, I agree, there are a lot of things that we still need to improve, that we still need to work on. I'm not going to lie and say that no, everything is well. It's not well. There are so many things that we still need to work on. But me, I'm saying that I see future, I see bright things with the ANC. If you don't, tell me which one is going to lead better.
Tell us why. Leave your comment in the comment section and let's engage. This has been quite an interesting conversation, Mkabayi. I wanted to sing for you, right?
Yeah.
I said it. But I'm not going to sing for long. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing. Mkabayi gajanga. Mkabayi. Bakita ngayo lapha.
Mkabayi gajama. Mkabayi. 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 Mkabayi gajama. Mkabayi. Mkabayi. Mkabayi.
Bye.
Bye.